your eighth season of fixing our lives, I wanted to ask you, where do you find it to be the light that you shine onto others? I mean, after 8 seasons of just mentorship, conversation, and guidance, something that we need, especially in this year in 2021. I just wanted to know, where do you pull that from? Because I think you serve as an inspiration to all of us. So that's just what I wanted to start with. Where do you pull that light from?
Well, it hasn't been 8 years. It's been almost 40 years. I published my
Yes,
first book in 1988.
yes, ma'am. Yes.
So
Incredible,
um,
incredible.
it's about purpose. Once you recognize and tap into your purpose, you just live it in a variety of ways that it may show up in the universe. So I've just been doing my purpose, which is to teach, which is to facilitate the evolution of human consciousness. And Fix My Life was just one of the ways that I was able to do it.
Yes, ma'am. So you spoke about purpose, which actually brings me to my next question, which is perfect. Can you recall some early instances in your early career before your book, just coming up of instances where you knew this is what I was called to do? This is what my purpose is. Oh, I'm so sorry, Miss. I don't know what happened. There we go. I'm so sorry. I had to pop up. But yes, can you tell me a little bit about purpose? Just early instances of when you really said to yourself, "This is my purpose. This is what I've been called to do." Before the fame, before your amazing recognition, which is so rightfully deserved. Can you just think about early experiences where you said, "Okay, this is what I'm here for"?
Well, my earliest recognition of purpose was I wanted to be a nurse. I
Yes.
wanted to support healing.
Okay.
And of course, because of the way we're programmed, conditioned, educated in this matrix of life, for me, a nurse was the way I wanted to support people in healing. It was always about healing for me.
Okay.
I couldn't be a doctor because I couldn't deal with the cutting of the people, and that was too much. I couldn't even be a nurse because that meant I was going to have to dissect a pig.
Yes, and the
And
blood.
just me and the pig, we just couldn't get along
Yeah,
together.
but you felt
So
you needed to care for people as a nurse, and
yes,
okay.
yes. And then that evolved into law, really understanding, helping people, saving people from just I don't even know what you call it in society.
Okay.
But that's what I thought my purpose was.
Okay.
And as it evolved, I didn't make it through nursing school. I finished law school and started practicing law. And along the way, just kept getting guidance and inspiration from life, from God, from the Holy Spirit, wherever it came from. No, do it this way, or do this, or do that. So I think I kind of walked into my purpose,
Mm.
which has always been to support others in healing,
Okay.
growing, stretching, eliminating problems, probably because I grew up with so many problems.
Right.
Um, and it wasn't until I wrote Tapping the Power Within in '88
Okay.
that I really understood, okay, this is about helping people heal their mind and heal their heart.
Yes.
That's how I kind of walked into it. I didn't say, what's my purpose?
Okay, awesome. And I asked that question because I know in past seasons where I've watched, failure is kind of like a big concept. You speak to your clients and the people that you work with about failure. And I feel like, especially in 2021, everyone wants to succeed so fast and instant gratification.
Oh, yeah.
And if you could just talk on that, because I found your words on this topic specifically so inspiring. And it's even helped me, like, okay, Sidnee, calm down. Everything's not going to happen as you want it. It's not your plan, it's his. So if you could just talk a little bit about, once you found your purpose, failure, and the drive to succeed, especially in today's day and age, that we just need to wipe that notion clean.
Well, the question is, do you have drive or are you driven?
Okay. Oh,
And I'm driven.
Yeah.
meaning guided from the inside out.
Yes.
And success, if it's externally referenced, means that you always have to have external validation. And the matrix of this society, we now thrive on external validation. But I think it goes all the way back to the introduction of the microwave.
Interesting. It's
You
just,
know,
I would love to hear this.
why? Because, when I wanted to bake a potato,
Okay.
I had to wash it. I had to put some Crisco on it. I had to put it in the oven, and I had to wait. I had to wait for the potato. Now, 3 minutes, it's already washed in a bag, and you throw it in the thing, and 3 minutes later, you got a potato. No, 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 no. So this technology has stripped us of a very important human skill, which is patience.
Yes.
And process.
Absolutely.
And practice. Patience, process, practice. But technology has stripped us of that.
Oh,
and so many of the things that we grow and develop in the process of waiting and developing patience and learning to trust and have faith and watching and observing and adjusting, we don't do that anymore. Just throw the thing in the microwave.
Right, just get it
done. Or go to Google. It is amazing to me that millennials and I guess Z's and X's grew up without encyclopedias.
Yes.
An encyclopedia, that man came to the door and every month you got a new book.
I remember.
Put it on the shelf.
Encyclopedia.
That's right. Like we never got the JKMN book because we didn't have the money. So we missed that month. So encyclopedias didn't have J through M. But now you don't have to have patience. You don't have to read. You just go on and there's pictures and and I think that for me, failure is anytime you don't realize your desired intention.
Excellent.
That's failure. And even in that, you're going to learn something. All things are lessons that God would have me learn. But people don't want to learn. They want to achieve. They want it fast. They don't want to wait for the potato.
I have to use that analogy because that just describes it so perfect. There's good things come to people who wait and who practice, as you said, and who align. So that was perfectly said.
But it's not good thing comes to people who wait only. Okay. It's good things come to people who know how to wait.
Ooh, know how to wait.
Because if you're waiting with anxiety and nervousness, that's not going to work.
So perfect point. I wanted to transfer the questions a little bit to this season or even in past seasons. Could you tell me a specific instant or a specific person you spoke to or work with that really took you aback, that really changed, maybe not changed, but slightly altered how you are continuously thinking, how you are continuously taking in everything that's going on today, in today's day and age? Is there a specific client or maybe topic that you spoke with someone about that really changed you? Because I know in my line of work, I speak to, people all the time, high profile public figures. But today, speaking with you, just your energy and just the amazing woman you are, it's kind of taking me aback and kind of centering me like, okay, Sidnee, this is what you've been put here to do, to continue the storytelling and tell the stories of amazing individuals like yourself. Are you able to just recall a time, either this season, last season, or whenever, that really took you aback?
Not took me aback because we do such intensive, extensive preparation for every show. We get the client's intention. We create a healing path. We pray. I never knew how it was going to unfold, but I always knew what we were aiming for. What takes me aback, I would say, is there were very often times at the beginning of a show where I would have a premonition or a prediction. And because we're doing television, the producers didn't see it that way. And 9 times out of 10, What I said was going to happen, happened.
Wow. That's
And then they were like, okay, wait a minute, hold up. So they learned to, because television, you're producing.
Right.
And in healing, you are creating.
I love that.
They're both a process.
I love that.
But one requires a bit more trust and faith and openness for spirit to come in than the other. Producers want to know it's going to happen like this. And teachers, healers, ministers want to know that there's room for spirit to come in.
Yes, man. I couldn't agree more. That was a perfect, I got a little chills. Okay. Speaking about praying, I know this is a super horrible time for DMX, the rapper DMX. As a New York native myself, he's been an icon in my life musically, and my cousins and my parents and so on and so forth. When everything is so negatively surrounding him, I just want to speak to you about the light you saw in him.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I know it was very intense when he spoke with you and spent time with you, and you helped mentor and guide his life, but everything seems to be so negative surrounding him. As a person who really sat down with him, I just want to talk about the light you saw in him. If you could share a little bit about that with me, that would be so awesome. And I know it would help a lot of people who are constantly sending up prayers and hoping and wishing.
Well, what are they praying for? What are they praying for?
Okay.
And I don't see this as a dark, horrible time for him.
Okay.
I see him at the point of choice. Okay. He is anointed. I always knew that. He is anointed. However, he was rewarded to be dysfunctional. He was rewarded. People around him loved him, but they didn't love him enough to say, if you don't stop that, I'm out. Nobody loved him enough to say that. And I think the thing that I remember about him is the softness. He had a gentleness and a softness that you didn't see on the stage, grabbing crotch, cussing, and you didn't see that. He loved his grandmother. He loved his grandmother. And one of the questions that I asked him was, why wasn't her love enough to sustain you? This is a young man who was given away. This is a young man a man who was never consecrated. I don't know if you ever saw the movie Roots, when Kunta Kinte lifted Kizzy up above his head and said, behold, the only thing greater than yourself. Nobody ever lifted him and made that connection between him and his creator. He knew it was there, but he wasn't rewarded to honor it. He was rewarded for dysfunction. So I think he's at a point of choice. I think the thing that we can do is send him light and energy. He has to make the choice. And if he comes back, if he recovers, how is it going to look different? He's 50, which is a critical age for a man, for anybody. 50 is the year of grace. So we're asking for grace for him. But if he's going to come back and people are going to continue to reward him to be dysfunctional, if women are going to continue to have children with a man who's so lost within himself, he may make the choice to just transition into another way of being. And we can still love him and grow from him and honor his anointing.
Yes. Thank you so much for speaking on that. I really appreciate it. I'm not going to take up too much more of your time, but a big last question I would like to end with. A big theme for the end of last year, even into this year, was perseverance. And I feel that you could touch on this the best, whether everything that we've had to go through, especially for the past year, dealing with COVID, the ongoing police brutality and so on and so forth. I feel like we have survived and persevered only through survival. If you could just touch on how to now that we're getting past that point, if you could just touch about how to persevere separate from survival, I think that would really, really make a difference, especially in my life. I just feel like I'm just kind of going with the notions just to get through and get beyond. And I feel like a lot of us who have dealt with loss and so on and so forth are in that weird space. But now that we're kind of coming up on the other side of that, if you can speak on perseverance and how to continue that, and especially in this day and age.
I don't want us to persevere. I don't want that.
Okay.
I want us to recreate.
Okay.
You know, people are so upset about being down a year in COVID when we've lived 400 years with racial injustice.
And that is,
When we've lived so many years with the denigration and of women.
yes.
When we've lived so many years with the abuse of children, the neglect of children, and now we're coming up on, you know, gender bias and elder abuse. But we've lived with these things. We've persevered through them. Why are we upset that COVID said put on a mask? We've been living behind a mask. We've been acting like racism doesn't exist. We've been acting like women are equals. We've been acting like that. We've had a mask on since, you know, in the Emancipation Proclamation.
This country, yes, ma'am.
So now that we have to physically wear a mask, we're in hysteria, okay? I say we gotta recreate this.
Okay, I love that.
You know, being a Black woman in America, there were many times when I couldn't breathe. In corporate America, in the world, in my relationships, I couldn't breathe. So what 2020 and 2021 has shown us is the cracks in our foundation that we need to recreate. And like you said, not persevere, but how about flourish?
Yes.
How about blossom? How about thrive? But we can't do it with the habitual problem-solving techniques we've been using. We've got to change. We've got to recreate. We've got to do something different. We got to come out of the white male domination and superiority. But that means women have to be in their proper place within themselves so that they can stand in the world in a different way. It means that men have to be willing to tell the truth about their irresponsibility, neglect, aggression. And it's all coming to the surface for us to see. So I don't want us to persevere. I want us to recreate. And I want us to do it with compassion and love. I want us to do it with truth. I want us to do it with honor and dignity, you know, and I want us to have fun in the process.
Yes. All right, Ms. Vanzant, listen, we're no longer persevering, we're flourishing and recreating. That is my new life motto going into this year, because I just feel like persevering is just right there next to surviving. And as you said, we have to do so much more than that. We have to recreate the system just so we're able to recreate the life, especially for Black and brown people in this country.
Yes, and red people.
And red, yes, Black, brown, and red. I can never forget those. Ms. Vanzant, thank you so much
for my love
this morning. It was just touched my heart in so many ways. I've been watching you on TV for so long. So it's quite a pleasure to be speaking with you and just receiving energies, even if it's over the computer. I'd like to give you your flowers and just really thank you for what you do, not only on TV, but behind it for our community, the Black, brown, and red communities. You're such a treasure. And I would just like to thank you for all you've done over centuries and decades. You are just—
Oh, not centuries. I ain't that old.
But I mean, like you said, you've been a servant of the public since you wanted to be a nurse for years. So I just would like to thank you for all you do for our community. And I can't wait to watch season 8.
Oh, it's going to be good.
People that are on there, and I'm super excited. But I just wanted to end by giving you your flowers and saying thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good day.